Courtney's face turned 4 shades redder in embarrassment. She unconsciously played with her padded crotch because of her need to pee. "I sort of lost a bet," she stammered. "Right," said Elizabeth, still laughing. The other girl, someone she didn't know, was laughing as well. Thankfully, the two departed, still laughing. Courtney moved quickly to the first stall, finding it locked. Then the second, also locked. She tried the other 3 stalls in the bathroom, finding them all locked. She backed up against the wall and leaned against it, waiting for whoever was inside one of the stalls to come out. She jumped when she finally heard a toilet flush. The door on the end opened up, and Melanie walked out. Courtney almost panicked seeing her. What was she going to do? "Hello. I kind of figured those girls would be talking to one of you. You are wearing 3 perfectly good diapers. There really isn't any need for you to use a toilet," she said. "Screw you," Courtney said, walking towards the open stall. Courtney was surprised Melanie didn't move to stop her. Instead, she moved toward the sink, grasping the handle to turn on the water. "Oh, one last thing," said Melanie. She turned the handle on the faucet, and water began to splash nosily into the sink. "Ever think about rushing waterfalls when you have to pee?" Courtney stopped where she was. She was peeing. She turned around, a look of shock on her face. Her control over her bladder had ceased to be as soon as Melanie had turned on the faucet. Melanie smiled. "Just as I thought," she said. Melanie finished washing her hands and left. Courtney stood, still peeing. That large Coke had evidently filled her up quite well. How had Melanie made her just wet herself without any warning? Courtney walked into the bathroom stall, even though she had already relieved herself. She slid off her shorts, hanging them on the hook mounted in the side of the stall. She looked down at her wet diapers, slightly discolored from her soda. She reached down and untaped one side of the outer diaper, and then the other, pulling gently to take it off. It didn't budge. She tried pulling harder, and one of her inner diapers leaked out onto her legs, running onto the floor. She tugged again harder, losing her grip and losing her balance. She stumbled against the wall, jarring the stall slightly. Her shorts fell off the hook and landed in the toilet with a splash. She stood, dumbfounded at her clumsiness. She watched as the blue toilet cleaner soaked into her shorts, staining them a horrible dark blue. She turned back to her diapers, realizing even if she got them off, she would then have nothing to wear. She definitely wasn't going to put those shorts back on. She had no idea what had been in that toilet. She reached down to her waist, taping the first diaper back up. She noticed that there were diaper pins at her hips, which were probably keeping the disposables in place. She tried unfastening one, but it didn't budge. Apparently there was some sort of locking mechanism to it. "Great," she said out loud. She turned and walked out of the stall, leaving her shorts floating in the toilet bowl. She saw 2 other people at the sinks now, 2 of the other people that had been in the other stalls. The first one turned on the water again, and Courtney began to pee freely into her diapers again. Gasping in surprise, she ran out of the bathroom away from the sound of running water. In the absence of the sound, she stopped wetting herself. She had walked straight into a crowd, however. One of the movies had just let out, and people were streaming through the lobby at a lazy pace. Several of her classmates saw her standing there in wet diapers and a t-shirt, and did not fail to take notice. She was a public spectacle. After all, a teenage girl in nothing but diapers was an extraordinary sight. Melanie looked at the screen slack-jawed. That pea soup scene was disgusting. She closed her eyes and shook her head, thinking of what she was going to do. She stood and walked down a few rows closer to the girls in front. She sat back down and turned around when she heard the door to the theater open. It was Courtney, who was apparently now only wearing her diapers and a shirt. She bit her lip to keep from laughing. I wonder what she did with her shorts, she thought. She watched Courtney plop down in her seat and talk to who she thought was Tiffany. The girls all began to talk now, forgetting about the movie. Melanie smiled and pulled the small radio button out of her pocket. It was fairly small and quite compact. This was the last test to see if the hypnosis they had undergone while they were sleeping really worked completely. She had gotten Courtney to wet herself by just hearing running water, so she knew that worked.